Alright, just kidding. Anyway, this is the front handspring tutorial, more of a free runner way than a gymnastics way. Gymnastics does it by blocking off of your hands. The way you would do that is you come in out of your hurdle. It's almost like diving at the ground. You lock your arms out or something like that. You block, and then you arc your back. That's what flicks them over, and they come out all pretty like this and land on 2 feet. And while that's all cool, it doesn't work for me. So, hey, maybe this will help you out do a front handspring without, taking gymnastics, because we all know how fun that would be. Anyway, so I learned this, I think, from watching Heldon or Livewire or Kato or, one of the people that's got like a lot of arm strength, does handstands and stuff. Just watching them kind of guys, I developed a little bit of that style. And I found that this technique works very well for me. The difference is when you go into your hands, instead of locking your arms out, you're actually bending your arms. You're bending them, and then you're going to push off of them. This is the way I feel like a lot of people try that front handspring anyway. So, it'll help you out if that's kind of what you normally do. So when you come in, you're going to land, 1, 2. It doesn't matter which way, whatever's more comfortable to you. And you come in by almost doing like what you would for a front flip, instead of blocking, it's called a hurdle step. And that's what they do in gymnastics. As far as what you should know before this, do a solid front handspring. If you can handstand pretty well, it'll help a lot. Just because you'll be used to, pushing, holding your weight a little bit. That's not really necessary. But any kind of, just being used to rotating, a cartwheel could even help. So you don't really need much to go on. It's a very, basic maneuver. Technically, it's more technical than a front flip. It can be anyway. Like, you can be able to front flip and not front handspring. And that confuses gymnasts because they're very progression based. But anyway, on to the actual tutorial. Now when you come in and you land, my voice is cracked really weird. Okay, so when you come in, land 1, 2. What I personally do is I don't put my hands way far out. I also don't put them way too close. What I like to do is put it about there, about I'd say a foot and a half. Just, I'm not reaching. I don't need both my feet off the ground to get my hands there. And like I just said, I keep my front foot on as I put my hands down. Well, my back leg, what it likes to do is once I go 1, 2, I start reaching down. And as I'm reaching down, this like squats slightly so that my hands come down and gets to the ground. Meanwhile, this back leg is just doing that. It's trying to kick me over as if I was trying to flip. And it kicks up and it'll lock once it gets to this position, which is an arc, It's like what you would do in a back layout. So, once it gets to here, it's just going to lock, okay? You don't need to, try and kick the back of your head. But if that's how you arc, then go ahead. But I am not a very flexible man, especially in my back. As far as what your arms do, okay? So, I want to cover, the legs, like what they're doing at each point. So, you're coming down, your legs picking up, reaching to the ground. Now, once your hands touch the ground, you're going to, rock onto your hands and start to take your weight, as if you were into a handstand. However, instead of doing this, you're actually going to bend your arms a little bit, like this. You don't need to go too far down, but enough so you get a strong, nice push off of it. If you want to bend your arms a little bit like this and push, if that works for you, go ahead. If you feel like you need to basically drag your head on the ground, please, go ahead. Now, once I'm here, my hands are embracing my weight. Now, I'm on my toes as my arms start to bend and take the weight. And then I kind of do this. And right about there is when my back leg is locking out in that arc and it's starting to really drive over. It almost keeps accelerating throughout the entire rotation. And my front leg at that point is now flicking off of my toes. I'm just going, yeah. That's what this is doing. Okay? So basically I'm going, alright, and now once you're, in that handstand position, like this, you're starting to go over. Your arms are about here. And then it's a technique in which I like to call throwing the ground behind you. You're taking the ground, bending it in, you're going to throw it behind you. It's very simple. So, that's what it feels like. You're taking the ground, pulling it here, putting it here, and chucking it behind you. And as you do that, you're locked out in this arc. You want to keep this arc all locked up and everything. Keep your head thrown back. And once you land, you'll feel yourself, start going forward. And once you feel that this leg is going to come down on the ground solidly, then you can look forward and it'll continue your momentum. If you look forward too early, what will happen is your body will lose that arc. So you may just kind of land and fall and stumble backwards. And obviously that's not the purpose of this move. You're trying to just continue going forward. And I emphasize landing one foot and then the other because it just keeps the natural flow of everything going. So I'm going to demonstrate one real fast. And then from a different angle. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Now, as far as using it for over obstacles and everything, the ground push maneuver, it's actually a little bit easier, but obviously, it's a little sketchy if you don't know what you're doing. You don't want to clip the obstacle. That'd be awful, right? So what you do is, you take the edge of the obstacle, the far edge, and you take that, and that's what you're going to chuck behind you now. When you grab it, instead of bringing it more toward your head, you're actually going to bring it to your chest. Okay? So if it's a wall like this, you're grabbing it, you're pulling your head over, and your body's going over, and you're flicking it behind you. So basically, you're just leaning it over like that, as if you're trying to look down like a building or something. And then, as you look down it, your legs are doing the kick over thing. And as you feel your momentum going over, that's when you get that nice little flick and push behind you. If you have anything soft but sturdy, I would honestly recommend learning it that way first and then bringing it to the ground. Because just how you can pull your head, what would be into the ground, it'll help you because you can get more spring and pop that way. And then all you do is say you have something like a mat or two mats this high, take a mat off of it and work your way down, so then you get more of a pop off of it and you don't have to bring your head down as far. You don't even have to bring your head down, it just helps, because it makes it more simple, more flowy, and you don't have to use as much power, so it'll make the landing so much more controlled, and then you just walk away and you look like a boss. And obviously, you can lead that into tumbling, or just, if you're using it as a vault parkour style, you can just vault the object and continue to run into a huge precision or, some strides, whatever you're doing. But yeah, basically that is the technique. I'm just going to demonstrate one every direction just because I can. We're going to have the behind view. Alright, we're going to have the side view. And then we're going to have a toward but angled side. Alright, and that's how you do a weird front handspring type thing.